I think you feel a part of something. I think when you walk around, especially in a space like this big park, there's so much life there. It's like you look under a bit of bark and there's a little wood lice sleeping or whatever it is. There's so many different types of plants and they all look different. And I think, yeah, it's more natural. I think so, especially like in today's world. It's like we live in such a visual world because of social media and things like that. I think it's not visuals that I feel connected with. But then you go into nature and you feel like, I feel like I recognise something in that. I remember like waking up because my mum's a yoga teacher. She's very, very spiritual. I don't think she aligned with any one religion or any one kind of ideology, but it's always been a part of her. I remember waking up before primary school. She'd wake me up and put my pajama, put me in some clothes, and then she'd maybe sit down with my legs crossed and pray to, not pray, but meditate to Ganesh and Buddha and all these symbols of Buddhism and prayer and all that kind of stuff. And those are some of my early memories. That's definitely informed a lot of my thinking and a lot of my choices. I think I try to pick out each moment in a day where I find something genuine. Coming back to what's always been there, which is peace and love and the world. Like, I had a really difficult relationship with my dad growing up because he was just... My dad's one of the... it's hard to say really. It's not really something I still fully understand, but I think you have choices in life to I think every day is a new day. I believe in that. I believe in the power of right now and change, and I think in certain ways I just don't think my dad ever really wanted to change. When you have hate in your heart, it just closes you off from the rest of the world, and you think that when you hate someone that's hurting them, but it's not. It's hurting you. And I think I saw that a lot in him, that he was stopping himself to, I would be lying if I said that my dad didn't introduce me to music and film and swimming in the sea, that's and camping and surfing, that's all him. But that's the love in him. But he locked that part of him away, and I didn't want that. If I gave him the same power over me and over my life that I did when I was younger, then a lot of my feelings of the world wouldn't be mine, they would be his. And I would inherit that anger, and I would inherit that sadness when I love the world so much. I really do. I always have. You know, thinking back to my childhood and thinking, you know, I love to climb trees and I love to be in the grass. I love to go swimming. You know, I've got so much love in my heart, and I didn't want that to be taken away from me. So but like, it was like 14, I think, 14, 15, and I just, yeah, I kind of stopped talking to my dad and kind of stopped having a relationship with him, and yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough.
You know, for a long time, I always thought that I had to hide away from the world. And I always thought that, you know, if I let my insecurities kind of take over, then everything would be all right. And of course, that wasn't the case. But for a long time, I really felt that way. And it's mainly because I have alopecia. Now, for people who don't know what alopecia is an autoimmune disease that stops certain people from growing hair on certain places on their body. Hence why, you know. And I think that was always something I thought I had to hide away from the world. I always thought that was something I had to cover up, because if I didn't, I thought maybe my whole world would fall apart. Even though I kind of knew that wasn't the case, I still kind of went on that way kind of for a very long time. And it wasn't even until a couple of years ago that I decided to make a change. And there was kind of this amazing thing that happened when I did decide to change, and I did just decide to show the world who I was. And it was something that happens to everybody all the time. If they just give life a chance to accept who they are, then life can love who they are. And it gives you a chance to love yourself as well. And that's my message for today. Instead of letting insecurities rule your world and let you know what you shouldn't do, let it be a sign of exactly what you should do. Let it be something that inspires you instead of brings you down. Thank you. Peace.
I think I was 14, kind of early 14, and a friend of my mum's daughter was doing a music video for her boyfriend. And they weren't like a really kind of big band at the time. And I was going to sort of just be a side character. They were like, you know, could we just get your son in for this thing? And then when I got there, they kind of decided that they wanted to kind of change the narrative a little bit. And I became one of like the main characters. Yeah, so I did that, and 14, didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna go play. They gave me like a little gun to play with, and I was like, I'm just gonna run around. And then like a few months later, maybe even a couple of weeks later, they were like, oh, we've actually decided we want to do an album. And they did an album cover, and they wanted me to be on the album cover. And they gave me like a little fake tattoo, and I thought I was the coolest thing in the world. I couldn't comprehend the concept of like making an album. I don't know, I was just not thinking about that kind of stuff. I was like still very much into Minecraft and that kind of stuff when I was that age. I like wasn't really thinking about it. I think for a few months I was just picking up little stuff after that, just like little bits. And then when I was 15, there was like a couple of agencies contacted me and were like, we would love to sign you. And then I went to Super. I went to a bunch of different agencies, but I went to Super, who's the agency I'm with now. I've been with them, yeah, Jesus, 6 years, 7 years or something. And then just been doing it ever since. I really didn't think about it for a long time, and it wasn't like what it is now. Like when I was younger, I wasn't. It took me 5 years just to make 200 quid, and then eventually started. I think I started posting stuff on my Instagram, started taking my Instagram seriously, and started really thinking about how I could use that to get jobs, and then, yeah, that's when things definitely changed a lot. I think I've been very lucky with modelling to meet people that I've always looked up to, and I think for a long time they kind of felt like they were a million miles away. You know, watching them online and seeing these pictures and videos of them, and I've been able to meet people, and it's just a person. It's a bit of a letdown. It really is. It's a bit of a letdown. Just looking at them, and I remember the first time I ever met Kanye West, which was an insane person to me, because for me he was that guy for the longest time. I was having lunch and I looked up and there was this guy eating a curry and drinking a full bottle of red wine all by himself. Yeah. And I was like, who is this guy? I was thinking to myself, like, this guy, I don't know who this guy is, like sitting on these stairs, and I was like, that's him. That's Kanye, that's the guy. That's this guy that I've just dreamed of meeting is just sitting there, just in the weirdest, most like, I don't know, I couldn't have made that up, you know? It's weird because it's like, when I'm saying it, it feels so obvious, but it's like, we're all on the same planet. It all exists here. I think it's nothing's a million miles away. No one's that much different than anybody else. We started talking, and he was like, "Thank you, Hugo, for coming." And I think we kind of developed a bit of a relationship, and I was working with him for about 3 months. But I remember this, I was chilling and I was having McDonald's, and these models came in, and they had like bald caps on, and they had like makeup, so they didn't have any eyebrows. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, you guys kind of look like me," and they were like, "Yeah, of course we do." And I was like, and then like one came in, and then another one came in, and then another one came in. There's some really funny videos because they did it to Naomi Campbell as well, and they did it to like a bunch of crazy famous models. And I was like, why are you guys with me? And they were like, "Have you not seen what's going on in the makeup room?" And I was like, "No, what do you mean?" And we go into the makeup room, and there's like loads of makeup artists, and there's like a pillar in the middle of the room, and on the pillar is just a photo of my face. Yeah. There's just a picture of my face on this pillar, and literally just like everyone was like, "We need to make everyone look like that." Wow. Which was fucked. Your confidence was good. It was. I think, yeah, I've been very lucky. Yeah. And I've had experiences that a lot of people won't have. Or, you know. I remember I was in Paris and we had an argument, and because he gets very angry, and we had an argument, and that's when I left. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I remember we did a show, and then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Not spoken to him since, because he was really horrible. Yeah. But he's a human being, you know. I think when you talk about the word forgiveness, I think so much of what people think that is, at least or what I won't speak about people. I thought that forgiveness was ridiculous. I thought it made no sense, because why would you say that something was okay? And it's not about saying something was okay, it's about saying goodbye to somebody. And it's about saying that whatever happened, and I'm going to let go of that now. I remember like I wore a hat everywhere I went for like a year. Yeah. Like a whole year, I wore a hat everywhere I went. I remember being on the bus with my brother one time and being like, shit, I forgot my hat. Like I just didn't think about it and we got on the bus and I was like panicking. I was like, I don't have my hat. And then he was like, what's the problem? I was like, I've not had a hat. I'm not had a hat on in public in a year, like almost 2 years, you know? To go from that to this is like...
You don't even think about it?
Yeah, I don't even think about it. Not even for a second. Mm. That is just... Oh yeah, I don't know what you can say about that. But there's also something to be said about, again, that juxtaposition, the split. So one side of things, there's this massive thing that's made me so confident, and I'm in the middle of this room in Paris and surrounded by people I've respected and thought of my whole life. But I had that experience with Kanye in Paris. And by the end of it, I was the most depressed I've ever been in the world. And I was the most lost and the most insecure I ever was by the end of that. Because that world is all about looks. It is. Even if it's like accepting the way you look or not accepting the way, like whatever it is, it's all about the way things look. Mm. It's all about marketing and it's money and the Instagram and even having the... I don't think I could have any better external validation than that. And having that external validation and still inside of me feeling like that person who had to wear his hat, and still feeling like that kid who just couldn't talk to his dad and didn't have that, like still feeling like that person, and having the most famous person I've ever known in my entire life, you know, praised me, you know, I'm like David, there's like Ozymandias, you know, it's like, to have that and still feel that in your heart was awful. There's so many different kinds of people. I think some people you meet are that kind of Kanye type who are, like, love the money and the fame and the, you know, they love the show of it all. And then you do get that designer who didn't have any friends and didn't really like their family very much and taught themselves how to make clothes. And yeah, I was a bit 10 and I got called for saying like, oh, Rick Owens wants you to be in his show in the summer in a couple of weeks, or in a couple of months or something. Would you want to go? And I was like, yeah, of course. And I don't know Rick Owens' history, but he's one of those people. I think that no matter what, I'll always go back to him if he'll have me, because he's one of the first people who really like looked at me and really kind of championed me to be who I am. I remember when I got to Paris for the first time. I think it was one of the first times I'd ever been. It was my first fashion week and I was shitting it. I was like so scared. You know, up until that point I hadn't really done that kind of big fashion stuff. I hadn't done a lot of that. So I was absolutely terrified. I'd only done one other show. That was my second show I ever did. And I was terrified. And I remember I got there and I was like, I don't know anybody and I don't know why I'm here, like imposter syndrome. I was like, I don't know why I'm here. And he came up to me and he grabbed me on my shoulders and was like, thank you so much for being here. Like, we can't wait to see what happens. But it wasn't the kind of validation that was like, it was that kind of real human validation. Like,
such a difference from Kanye.
Huge difference.
Do you think that sort of restored your
faith
in the whole industry?
Definitely. Modelling it's not for everyone. It's even for the people it's for, it's not, you know. Everything kind of like died down with modelling and I was like actually in uni and I was like, oh, I haven't actually like spent time making friends yet. I think that's why I came to uni, because I wanted to have something else. And I remember just coming into every lecture I was in, I would just be talking to people about like what was going on and they're like, why are you here? Like, why would you come here? I don't know. I try to say it to my friends, but obviously they're like, shut up, whatever. Like being in Bournemouth, in Buffalo, with your friends on a Tuesday afternoon, or watching a movie in your room, you know, with your girlfriend or whatever it is, that means more. That means more than any of those things. At least to me.
And a piece of shit.
I'm actually a terrible person.
And I have loads of hair.
Yeah. We should do a skit version of this. It's like, okay, cut, and then we actually do it. I might take my ball cap off. I've got a wig on.
Cut! We can see one of your hairs.
Guys, you guys are fucking on this show. God damn it. Let's go for another fucking take. God, I fucking hate all
We're no peaceful bald guys. We had to invent one.
We spent months searching for a peaceful podcast.
We went all over the country. Not one.
And we ended up hiring Terry Johnson, the president of the Anti-Board Committee.